Oh man, I love teaching. I'm a teacher because I had great teachers. And so when I was in 8th grade, had an English teacher, Miss Candler, and she legitimately changed my life. She invested in me, she bought into me, and I just wanted to one day be able to do the same thing. And so from that moment on, teaching is what I've always wanted to do, and so I am also an English teacher. For me, reaching students starts with relationships. As long as I can reach them personally, they know that I'm invested in them, that I'm an advocate for them, I don't have issues. When kids buy into you and you buy into them, teaching is honestly, I don't want to say easy, it's not an easy job, but it's easier. And so building relationships is the key to my classroom. It's the key to classroom management for me, and it's the key to reaching kids. So a lot of my students come from broken homes. They tend to come from homes, maybe there's an absentee parent, maybe they're living with a grandparent, whatever the case may be, they each have their own unique circumstances. And so every year during a poetry unit, I love to do this lesson titled Knock Knock. Knock Knock was actually shown to me by Chandra Shaw, and it's a lesson that covers a poet named Daniel Beatty, and he lost his father to incarceration when he was 7 years old. And he talks about how every morning his father would knock knock as he entered his room, and they would have this special bonding time together until that knock never came. He then goes on and he writes a poem from the perspective of his dad. You need to knock knock down the doors of opportunity, and knock knock down the doors of racism, and knock knock down the idea that you are my child, but you are not my choices. And that's something that so many of my students relate to. And so we have this lesson where they are so engaged. We listen to Daniel Beatty on video. We listen to him give his spiel, give his entire reading of this. I've got kids crying. I've got kids just emotionally overwhelmed, and that's a lot. It's a lot. So then we take it down, and I have my kids start to write ideas down. What are times that have been emotionally tough for you? And we kind of power through that, and we keep going until they can find something that says, you know what, I haven't addressed this personally yet. And they then write a letter poem to whatever the issue is that they're dealing with. And it really allows the walls to break down. It allows for students to relate to each other and figure out that, you know what, we're all going through things and we're all in this together. And I think that's what really makes my class hum, is that we're kind of a family, we're a unit. For me, teaching is about reaching each individual student, which is no easy task. I don't want to just reach them where I say, oh, this kid went from a 55 to a 72 on a test. That's good, that's academic growth, I love that. But I don't want academic growth, I want emotional growth. I want growth as a person. And so to me, teaching is far more than a test score. So much so that leading up to one of our big benchmark tests, I had an idea. I said, what if I took this and I went to my kids and had to prove it to them? So I wrote on my board, you are more than a test score. I had my kids enter the classroom. Everything was vacant. I had all the desks pushed to the sides, just big open space with a single stool sitting in front of that board. And one by one, I had each student come up. They sat on the stool with their back toward the board. And for 2 minutes, the class then wrote on the board positive words of encouragement that were specifically for this student. Okay, 2-minute timer went off. My kids turn around and they get to see it. They get to see their own peers speaking life into them, building them up. And that to me was so important. It was so much more than here's a numeric value for you. It's here's 30 statements of value for you, things that are real, things that are life. Truthfully, for me, teaching is the greatest honor that I've ever had. It's why I wake up each morning. It's why I do what I do. It's why I come home emotionally exhausted, but I love it. The chance to get to impact 1,000 lives a day, 1 life a day, whatever that number is enough to motivate anyone to go above and beyond all day, every day. My name is Micah Rice. I teach for Terrell ISD. Last year I taught 7th grade, and next year I'll be teaching English 1.